Tuned into WCOM-LP, Chapel Hill and Carborough, 103.5 FM. I am Richard Brown, and you are actually tuned into the Richard Brown Show on the radio as well as on TV. And I have some really special guests with me today. But before I introduce the guests, or actually have my guests introduce themselves, I want to talk just a little bit about what the Richard Brown Show is. It is a show that helps people to turn their dreams into reality. And so today what we'll be talking about is actually putting stuff down on paper, the ideas, the thoughts, and how you turn those into writing. I won't go so far today to say publish writing, but right now we'll just put it down on paper. And so what I believe is that far too often there are not enough really positive examples of people doing this type of thing. When you see the media, most of the time the media is just fairly negative about the world in general, specifically about African Americans, but in general the world is just negative.
We gotta keep people afraid, you know? Just gotta keep them afraid.
I think
that's why we have Paul over here today.
That's the status quo, folks. Keeping people afraid.
We really have to get them to stop watching the evening news.
Actually, I would stop watching Lifetime TV for that.
So, that's my belief. That's why this show was created, and that's kind of what's propelling it forward. So I want to thank you for tuning in today. I want to thank my two guests for coming in today, and let's get to introduce ourselves and really get into this conversation.
Well, I think ladies should go first. Audrey.
I'm Audrey. Okay, I'm Audrey Layden, and I do a show on Monday mornings with Paul called Carborough Book Beat, where we ask people to come in and talk about what they've written, what they're trying to write. We get publishers, we get authors, we get poets, anybody that has anything to do with the written word.
And how long have you all been doing this?
This show's been on, it'll be 2.5 years now, right?
2.5.
Almost, yeah.
And besides that, I am a counselor who very much believes in the efficacy of therapeutic writing. Put it down on paper, because once you've got it on paper, it stops going around in your head, driving you crazy in little circles. You can put it down, pin it down, and examine it. You get it out.
Okay, get it out. And Paul?
Yeah, well, I'm actually I'm Audrey's sidekick, and my idea is to offer comic relief.
Most of the time. Most of the time.
Yeah. Or
tragic relief.
Or tragic relief. Sometimes they have to, put a button in me or something to keep me quiet.
Well, every once in a while, you really come out with something good.
Every once in a while, like every 2 or 3 shows is what you're saying?
Yeah,
Paul's got a lot going there.
Okay.
He's got a lot going.
Well, we hope today you come out with something that hits the money.
Yeah, well, like your thing about, making, your dreams into reality. Actually, it's better to make your reality into dreams. I mean, that's naturally a
So because in less than 10 minutes, we're just going to kind of completely flip the culture and the name of the show.
We want to just flip it because, there's something profound in making your reality dreamlike. Because one thing about dreams is everything's unexpected. Where haven't you noticed that reality is incredibly boring because we set it up in all these routines, this routine of getting up and going to work at a certain time and eating at a certain time, and and you eat certain kind of food in the morning, and you eat certain kind of food in the afternoon, and you eat certain kind of food in the evening, and you snack on certain kind of food.
Predictability.
And I'm sorry, but I completely disagree, because I believe there can be freedom within your routine, because you are clear about where your goals are. Now, you can fall asleep. You can fall asleep without question because of the routine.
Right.
But I believe that the routine can also, it can be a jailer. I don't disagree with that, but it also can free you if you use it to its fullest benefit.
So you don't have to think. Spend your creative time thinking, what kind of breakfast should I have, or should I have breakfast, or should I sit here and at home and have coffee, or should I go to some local breakfast club to have some food, or should I go on a diet, instead of using all your energies to figure out the little minutiae of life.
Sure.
you can say, okay, this is what I'm going to do every morning, because what I need to do is get done and get out and get started with what I want.
Einstein used this he had, I think it was 4 or 5 different suits, and they were absolutely all the same type of suits. Same coat, same jacket, same shirt, same slacks, same shoes.
Well, that's true with me, except they're all the same shirt and the same jacket.
And the reason why is he says he wanted to go ahead and get past that in order to use his creativity on the other things that he was interested in.
That was important, right? Exactly.
So I hear you. I think that you have to be careful with either path.
No. See, here's the thing, because you see, you snuck a word in there.
I didn't sneak a word in there.
You stuck
all words were put there purposely.
Freedom, yeah. you stuck that word in there, freedom. And you see, to me, freedom doesn't belong to reality. Freedom belongs to dreams. Dreaming is where freedom really is. And to the degree that we think freedom is in reality, we can further imprison ourselves.
And I completely disagree with you, Paul.
Yeah, because I'm not going to go with that one either.
I think so. Not only are you wrong, you're also outnumbered.
Unfortunately, creativity is not a democracy, folks. Yeah, creativity is not a democracy.
Okay, now this I may actually be able to agree with. What I will say is that you have to find the right path for you. If what you're doing isn't working, then guess what? You need to change. Maybe you do try, I'm not going to focus on any particular thing, just focus on the big picture, or you can actually use a routine to get to where you want to go. For me, it's very important, specifically when we talk about writing, to say, this is where I want to go. But there are many paths in order to get there. And there has to be some process through which you evaluate, am I getting there? Am I missing it? Am I not even in the right ballpark? Some way in which you got to do that. And I think that as you do that more and more, you will develop some type of routine. I mean, I've listened to multiple shows that you all have done with different writers. And what I've heard is different writers have their own unique routine that they get through. That kind of, it's like going to church. It's a process.
It's a process.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I would want to bring in is one of my favorite words, and in reply to freedom, etc., is the issue of choice. I firmly believe, I don't know that Paul always agrees with me on this.
I think that's rare.
is that we do have choice.
Sure.
And I'm very much into, I'll go back to Viktor Frankl as the one who brought that out, is that's the last freedom. In whatever situation you're in, you can choose your attitude if you can't choose anything else. Mm-hmm. And that, to be aware of the fact that you have this degree of freedom to choose how you feel about what's going on, even if you can't say, well, I don't like this particular job, I've decided I'm going to go be CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Mm-hmm. That choice is probably not available to everybody. However, how you feel about the work that you're doing and the worth of it is your choice.
All right, Audrey. Mm-hmm. What about Sophie's choice? And we should probably explain what Sophie's choice was. She was a woman in a concentration camp, and she was asked to choose which one of her children was to be executed right then.
Right. So there was a choice.
There was a choice.
And I have thought of things, not particularly in that term, but never really hit me as a parent, of course.
Yeah.
But what do you do, and what would I have done, and how would I have survived after that, and whether I would have decided that it would be better that they kill us all right then, or, what would you do when choice is up against the wall like that? And
I wanna make sure that we give the listening audience and the television audience a connection between that and writing, because I think that everybody wants to, when you start to give hypotheticals, we want to go to life and death. But my belief is that most of the things we do, it all depends on what lens you put on. Mm-hmm. You can put on the lens that I am not free. I'm only free when I'm dreaming.